Welcome to HTML5 webinar series from jpassion.com. And the first topic we covered was HTML5 overview. And today we are going to cover semantics. So from this week, we are going to go a little bit deep down into the actual technology. All right. So let's move on with the presentation. So we are going to cover 11 topics, markup simplification, new structural elements, new semantic elements, a lot of things. Okay, so let's move on with the first topic, markup simplification. So HTML5 simplified the usage of existing tags. So for doc type in HTML4, you have to specify this long information. In HTML5, this is all you have to do. Okay. In terms of character encoding, this is the old way of doing things. Now all you have to do is just meta and character set. And script tag, again, you don't have to specify the type. All you have to do is just script and the source. And for link, you don't have to specify the type either. So this is the new way of doing things. Of course, all the way of doing things are still kind of honored. HTML5 deviation from XHTML rules. So the uppercase or mixed case tag names are allowed. So here, the capital input is fine. Codes are optional for attributes. So this is perfectly fine. So here, email or off, they do not have the codes, and that's fine. Closing empty elements are optional. So here, you don't have to have a closing element for input here. Okay, because it doesn't have anything as a contents. And attribute value is optional. So here, autocomplete, you can certainly say off and on. If you don't specify it, then its default is on. HTML5 also removed some tags from HTML4. Okay, so these are the tags that have been removed, especially like a frame. All right, so let's do first exercise. So all you have to do is, using your browser, go to Hands-on Labs sample HTML5 directory and just open it, open this HTML file, and then you're going to actually see this. Okay, so since I'm using Sublime Text, which I can just open the browser right inside the editor, I'm going to just go to here. Okay, so in this case, basically what we have is this is the way that we used to specify the tag name, small letter, and the codes. And the second one is we are using uppercase. And the third is that we don't have any codes on attribute values. Okay. And the last one is no value attributes. So we just do not specify any value for autocomplete. Okay. So let's just run this guy. I'm going to just use this one. Okay. All right. So this is autocomplete. So this is the autocomplete. You don't specify anything, which means it's taking a default value, which is on. Okay. This one, is not going to actually do any autocompletion because it's off. Okay. And so everything else is fine. Okay. Okay. So that is exercise 1. Let's move on to the next topic. Newly added structural elements. So HTML5 added several structural elements: section, article, aside, and nav. You can have multiple articles inside a section, or you can have multiple sections inside the article. So there is no really hierarchical structure that has to be met. Okay, so section is typically representing some section, and it can be used together with H1, H6 to indicate the document structure. An article is basically content of the document. Okay, again, you can have the nested. For example, inside a single section, you could have multiple articles. And aside is for the information that is relevant to the rest of the page. And nav is for navigation. And dialogue is for conversation, and header is for header, and footer is for footer. H group is representing a group of H1 to H6 elements. Okay. So in old way, in HTML4, the way that you want to specify a header or footer or a side and things like that is basically using div element and then using an ID like this. And then you might want to use some CSS tags, CSS styles to have those things, to provide a style. And here, we are not using any styling here. It's basically, it's providing some structure. Okay. And then you have a section. So what HTML5 designers has done is look at the all, let's say, conventions people use to specify header, navigation, section, and article, and then they just come up with these tags. Okay, so this is the old way of doing things, and this is the new way of doing things. Okay, so here we actually using header, and then we have a footer, and then we have a H group that groups the H1 to H6 elements, and then we have a navigation. And then you have a section. In this case, you have two articles inside a section. Inside the article, you can have a section as well. So as I said before, you can actually have, the nested structure between the two. Okay. All right. Now, having this structural element in your HTML5 document does not really change the way that users see. Okay. They provide some meta information to the, for example, search engines. Okay, so it's not really providing the visible, the user, the UI enhancement. Okay, but it simplified the design of the page and provide more information to search engines, and then it might enable more intelligent HTML tools. All right, so let's do exercise 2. So here we are going to open a structural element HTML file number 2. So here you can see we use the H header, and then we have H group, and then we have a nav, which actually provides a set of links, and then we have articles. And inside the article, you can have a header and footer as well. Okay, so we have inside the article we have a header, and then we have a section. And inside the section, we can also have a header and footer. And then we have a page header. So this header is a section header, and this is the page header. Okay. So let's just run this application, and this is what you're going to see. Okay. Now, as I said before, this structural text does not really provide any visible UI. It's not going to actually provide any enhanced UI. It's just considered as a meta information that could be useful to search engines or some tools. Okay, so I removed all the structural text, and it will actually provide the same UI like this. Okay, all right. In the future, the browser might actually take advantage of these tags, but for now, they are just providing some, meta information, extra information, and has nothing to do with how users are going to see your documentation. Okay. All right. So that's exercise 2. What we have. I mean, you can certainly take a look at the, the structure using Chrome tools. Okay. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next. Newly added semantic elements. Okay, so summary is visible heading for details element. So typically summary and details work together. Okay, and meter is providing scalar measurement of a known range, and progress is for providing progress of a task. A lot of these things actually were provided as part of the JavaScript widgets. However, now these things are provided as a native HTML5 tags. Okay, so you don't have to actually play around with all those JavaScript widgets anymore. Figure and figure caption, and time and mark. All right, so let's do exercise 3. So let's open number 3. So here we have, let's run this code first, and then we are going to see. So, we can see the progress, and these are the meters, and these are the menus, and then these are summaries. So you can actually expand it, and then you have a detailed information. Okay, so let's take a look at the code. So these are, I'm going to just move this one forward here. Yeah, so these are the progress. Okay, so the value starting from, the value 52 is represented here, and the max is 100. Okay. By the way, whenever you are using this structural and semantic tags, and if your browser does not support it, and these are the fallback message that gets displayed. Okay. So typically, recommendation is to have a fallback scheme in case the browser user is not supporting the HTML5. Okay, so this is again fallback message, and this is value 75. This is the meter. Okay, so again you have a value here too, and minimum and maximum, and you can also use So this is the value 06. As a default, the maximum is going to be 1, and here maximum, low and high and optimum and things like that. And these are the menus, and these are the details and summary. Okay, so pretty straightforward. Okay, let's move on to the next newly added form element. So form is pretty important for submitting some data to the server. Okay, so it specifies a predefined options for input elements. And again, you had to do a lot of JavaScript coding to do these kind of things. So data list is basically providing a drop-down list for input. Okay, so here we have a form element, and here then we are selecting the fruit from the list of fruits, and this fruit is basically provided. This drop-down list is provided from data list. Okay, so we have apple, avocado, orange, and banana like this. Okay, all right. So yeah, I'm gonna actually explain the all this, and then well, why don't I actually try this? So let's try the data list. Okay, so this is data list, and this is the same thing that we are seeing in the code. Okay, so let's run this code first. Okay, so now if I say apple, you can see it has the apple and avocado. And if I add another one, for example, here, and avocado 2, something like that, and save and refresh. Then if I say A, then you're going to actually see 3 the options that start with A. Okay, and if I say P, then it's going to have just 1. Okay, so that is data list. Okay, so the next one is an interesting new form element, and this is called the key gen. It's actually facilitate generation of private and public key as part of the submission of HTML form. And this is actually supposed to be used not by average user, but the applications that provide certificate management. Okay, so it's designed for use with a web-based certificate management system. So what it does is that when you submit this keygen, it's actually creating private key and public key to the server and send it to the server. So the server will generate a certificate and send it back to you. Okay, so that's basically what it does. Okay, so let's do keygen. So here. So here, the name of the keygen and challenge information and the key type. And there could be actually several key type you can choose. Okay, and let's actually run this code. And here I'm actually using a server. Okay, so there has been some server that actually receive this this information, public key, and then will return the certificate. Okay, so let me just run this guy. And you can just select the high grade and medium grade. Okay, and I'll try the medium grade and generate. Okay, and so basically this is a form data, and this is actually the what has been generated from the server. This is okay. Oh, this is actually the public key. It's just kind of it's just providing the information about the public key. Okay. If I actually see what has been returned, then you are going to actually see the public key network. Let's try one more time. Okay, let's see. Yeah, okay. So this is what has been sent to the server. Okay, so this is the from the client to the server, and let's see response. Oh, okay, so this is actually certificate information. Okay. All right. So that is keygen. Output element is basically representing the result of a calculation. So in this example, we have number, the type. So we have a two number type. Okay. And what we want to do is, for this one, we want to add the values of, this input and this input, and then change the value of the output. Okay. So here on input, what we want to do is take the value of this A, okay, A input, and then add. So the first one is adding it, okay. The second one, whenever you're adding a value, you are actually changing a value in the second input is going to subtract the second input from the first input, okay. And it's basically changing the value of output the here. So the result. This is the name of the output, and it's automatically the value is automatically reflected in the output, okay. So let's try this one here. Okay, so this is the same code. Let's run it. So yeah, so this is the range. Yeah, so the code is actually what I want to actually show. This one is this. Okay, so whenever I'm actually changing the value on the first one, is reflecting in the output 35. Now, if I change the value on the second input, then it's going to subtract that value from the first. Okay, so that is basically the code I shown you. So this code, that's example 2. Example 1 is basically simpler. So we have, in fact, the range, the type, okay, which is a newly added type, and it's basically name is age, and minimum is 10 and maximum is 50, and value is 13. Now, whenever that value gets changed, we want to display the output in the output here. Okay, so that is idea of this output is age display, and basically we are displaying, we are changing that output value with the value that has been changing. Okay, so now if I actually move this one, you can see this is the output element. Okay, and this range is this range. Okay, so whenever I'm actually changing, it's actually reflecting the value that has been changed. Okay. All right, so that is new form elements. Okay, newly added form input types. Okay, so it provides a better input control and validation. So again, in old days, without the HTML5, you have to do your validation in Java code. Now, these input types that could be used inside of forms provide a built-in validation. Okay. By the way, if they are not supported, then they will behave just regular text fields. So the newly added input types for forms is including date, date and time, and date time local. By the way, the difference between date time and date time local is that date time local does not have any time zone, and this one does. Okay, and week and month, and email, telephone, search, URL, number, range. You already have seen example of range and color. Okay, so these are the ready to use input types in your forms. Now, these input types could be used by the browser, especially in the mobile browser that do not really have large screen. They could actually customize the display depending on what type of that input form field.